Here's a look at a big matchup coming up today. FIFA Club World Cup final between Man City and Fluminense kicking off at 1 p.m. Eastern, which you can stream on FIFA Plus. Man City with a chance to win their 5th trophy of the season, but it's not going to be an easy task against Fluminense, and Man City will be without a couple of their big stars. There was a rule that if you didn't play in the semifinal or make that roster, those players are unavailable for the final. So the likes of Erling Haaland, Kevin De Bruyne will not be available for this Man City side. But we saw a look at what Man City has won this season and a chance to win a 5th trophy in 2023. Pretty incredible stuff. Do they get it done?
I mean, it's probably not going to be their toughest competition quality-wise, right? Mm-hmm. Manchester City has a lot more quality than you probably can get or can even afford to have in the Brazilian leagues. That said, this isn't their full squad. And I'm not sure that they're as interested in winning this as, say, a Fluminense would, especially after Fluminense winning the Copa Libertadores, coming out looking really good in this competition. They've got some big players. They've got Ganso, who's got 7 assists and 3 goals. They got Germán Cano, who's playing out of his skin in this league, especially in Diniz' system, which is very difficult to do. And he is the main he is the pendulum by which that whole system swings. He's got 1 assist and 10 goals. I feel like the Fluminense players are going to come out to ball. And Manchester City, not at their full squad, maybe not having this competition be the most important in their year?
No, I think this is Pep Guardiola's side.
Oh, 100%.
They're motivated to win. That's why they're at this level, because of that intention to win all the trophies. And they want this silverware. I mean, Pep Guardiola talked about only 2 other English Premier League teams have won this trophy, to be one of the teams to win every single trophy available. Mm-hmm. That you're trying to make history. This is something they want. They are going out to win this game. The intensity will be there. They want this trophy. You're not wasting your time to play in this tournament and not try and win.
Alexis, how dare you disrespect Pep Guardiola like that? You know he's a winner, bro. Yeah, you know he wants to win. You think he's going to get to the final to have a participation trophy? Nah, that's not Pep Guardiola, bro.
But what message does it send to not have Erling Haaland, Kevin De Bruyne, and Jeremy
They're
Doku?
injured. There's nothing you can do about that. They're injured.
They
were injured, and they're in the rules because they didn't play in the semi-final. They can't play in the final if they're not in the squad, and that's a good thing for this competition. I think that's great. You can't save your superstars not to play in the semi-final, and then all of a sudden want to put them out in the final. Mm-hmm. The thing that I like about this game is the difficult thing about this is the style of football we're going to see.
Guardiola has played this 3 times.
He's won twice.
He's won it 3 times.
Which was the 3rd one? He won it twice with Barca.
Barca and Bayern.
He won it with Bayern? Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
But it's a style of football that's going to be interesting because how Fluminense play is something that Manchester City are not used to. They haven't come across that style of football. There's a lot more freedom, a lot more rawness, a lot more the Brazilian way, so to speak. And even Pep Guardiola has said it, watching Fluminense play is like watching old Brazil because they really go out there and play that samba style. That's going to be difficult to coach against when you've got players that are so used to playing in a structured, rigid system, knowing it's a lot more pass movement and thinking like that. Comparing it to an individual creativity element where these players have the freedom to be creative and not be so predictable. That's going to be the interesting style. But both teams want to win it. Pep, for his winning mentality and what he's trying to establish in Manchester City. Fluminense, because in Latin America, this is the biggest creme de la creme. To have that crest on your shirt, to say you are the best club in world football, it means so much to these teams, the fans, and people in that Latin American region. So it's going to be great.
But this is a Fluminense side that has a bit of experience in older players. I mean, we're looking at 7 players over the age of 30, 2 of which are 40 or older. How does that affect this team? Is that a positive thing, or do you think
that's harsh? They're the same age as Alexis? Like, come on.
It didn't bother them for Copa Libertadores, which is a very difficult competition to win. That's their Champions League in South America. And Nigel talked about the style of play. They want to play into pressure. They want to play through your pressure. They want to do it's called the escadera. It's 3 players in a row diagonally cut through. It's a style of play that Manchester City's not used to. It's similar to someone who has like maybe a boxer going against someone in a bar fight. It's just they're not following the same rules you're following.
They'll be super motivated as well. They'll be super motivated as well because they're facing Manchester City. Like, they're very aware
100%.
of Manchester City, the dominance in Europe, who they are. And you talk about them being used to obviously knowing of Real Madrid and Barcelona, but now Manchester City is this new entity. These players in there will be definitely so motivated to beat them, and it's not just Fluminense. They'll be representing a whole region. Forget Brazil. It's that whole region will want that respect that we can still compete with top European clubs.
So for Man City then going up against an unorthodox style of play and a very motivated Fluminense team, Charlie, how does Pep tactically go about this matchup?
They play their style. They force Fluminense to adjust. Pep's not coming into this saying, oh, Fluminense is the best team, we got to change the way we play. No, they're going to stick to what they do really well. And you expect players like Julian Alvarez to come through and be good in this competition, especially without Erling Haaland, to win this game for them. Phil Foden, who had a great semifinal, to come in and play well. So when you have players like Rodri and Jack Grealish and Phil Foden,
they're stacked.
You think the talent disparity is too great?
I wouldn't say it's too great. I just really think it's going to be very interesting. And with Pep, he will make in-game adjustments because he really doesn't. He'll be well prepared. But how the game starts to go, he will adjust his players and change and be specific in identifying areas of weaknesses with this Fluminense side. That's what he does. He doesn't get credit for it because people don't see it. He has his style and his system, but depending on how games go, he makes adjustments to players and specifically areas of attack and how to do it.
Well, he'll be well prepared. We know that.
Yeah.
He's going to come in. He's already identified their weaknesses ahead of this. What's great about a coach like Pep Guardiola is he's phenomenal when it comes to preparing his team, setting up the team, having a style, an identity. But it's another thing to make those in-game substitutions, in-game tweaks of tactics. He does that perfectly. And so it's hard to bet ever against the Pep Guardiola side, just based on that alone, picking the right talent, but also knowing when to sub the talent and making those changes. He does that better than anyone.
Yeah,
So.
the toughest thing about Fluminense style is it's feast or famine. So they're either going to ball on you or you're going to completely outscore them because it's easy to pick them apart if you can get around that sort of centralization that they like to do. So it's difficult to decide who's going to win. Personally, I think maybe Fluminense guts it out 2-1, or maybe in penalties.
Guts it out and wins?
Yeah.
Fluminense? All right.
Yeah.
2-1.
City, 2-0.
I'm going penalties too. I think it's going to go to penalties. And I'll probably say I can see Fluminense maybe doing it in penalties if it goes.
Wow.
Oh, right.
Was not expecting that.
All right, I'm with Charlie on this one. I think City get the job done in regular time. I'm going to say 2-1. I think it'll be a little bit close.
Who gets the goal? John Kennedy or Fluminense?
Marcelo
Kennedy's.
running down the wing as a bench player.
And let's not
coming in.
forget, City has also stolen one of the best players from Fluminense a few years ago, that Kayaki. He's at Man City's academy, and he's a great player. And they took another one, I believe. Name slips me, but